Good blessed Friday early morning, May the 20th, 2022. It's about 4:40 a.m. in the morning time. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. Doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. Doesn't matter whether you are the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't even matter if you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. I greet all you all with that same universal greetings. You don't have to like me or anything that I say, but if you just pay attention, you might learn something. Today, what I really want to talk about, early this morning, what I really want to talk about is this recent shooting of this 13-year-old young boy in Chicago, Illinois, on the city northwest side on Cicero and Chicago Avenue by the Chicago police. I want y'all to pay attention to these two news briefs, and then at the end, I'm gonna let you all see something. You know, as I told y'all before, signs and symbols is for the conscious. This shooting is a wake-up call for black people. You see, you're gonna hear a 37 Ward, I believe, alderman lady speak on this here. You're gonna hear a guy that said he's an activist speak on this here. And then you're going to see a female in a car with her little child in the back seat speaking on this here. And you're going to hear her child and see her child tapping on the shoulder saying, "Mommy." I'm telling y'all this for a reason. Pay attention to the alderman and this individual that said that he's an activist. Y'all see him a lot. I call him an actor. And I think that y'all need to get another 37 Ward alderman when I get through telling you where what I want to tell you. You see, because the place that she in is one of the most notorious wards it is. Now, listen to the way she's speaking about the 13-year-old getting shot, which they said the little 13-year-old hands was up and he was turning around. I don't know if that's the case or not. But this 13-year-old and somebody else that was with him, the police was pursuing carjackers. A lot of these carjackers that's black in our black communities harming us. But you got to look at the history of this car that this 13-year-old was in. You see, it started in Oak Park, I believe, around Tuesday. The same car, they carjacked a female who left her 3-year-old in the car. She shouldn't have never left her 3-year-old in the car in this day and age, but regardless whether she left the 3-year-old in there or not. But these carjackers ran off with her car with her 3-year-old in the back. The alderman ain't gonna talk about that. That actor, which he called himself an activist, he ain't gonna talk about that. But that female that's in the car with her son, God give you revelation. What she says, and listen carefully what she says. But I want y'all to listen to the video first.
10-year-old for once, and at first I think his instinct kicked in to run.
An unarmed 13-year-old boy shot by Chicago police while fleeing from a vehicle. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dawn Hasbro.
And I'm Anthony Ponce. Corey has tonight off. That teen was seriously wounded. Nate Rogers live tonight with the very latest. Nate?
Yeah, that's right, Dawn and Anthony. That 13-year-old, we're told, shot by police in the back, remains in serious condition here at Stroger Hospital. Meanwhile, many questions remain if the shooting was in line with police policy.
Shots fired by the police.
The shooting occurred around 10:15 Wednesday night near this Marathon gas station along Chicago Avenue. Police say officers were attempting to stop a stolen vehicle, wanted in connection with a carjacking and kidnapping in Oak Park. When officers approached the car, the 13-year-old boy apparently got out and ran.
The subject flees to a gas station parking lot at the 800 block of North Cicero and turns toward the officer.
The 13-year-old was then shot. Police say he did not have a gun, and no officers were shot. Also, a second male sped away in the stolen vehicle, later recovered unoccupied.
So why did he shoot? Simply because you couldn't catch it?
COPA is now reviewing the officer's body-worn camera footage and other surveillance. 37th Ward Alderman Emma Mitz questions if the shooting goes against CPD's foot pursuit policy.
I know the investigation are taking place, but at the end of the day, if there was no gun, then that officer have to be held accountable for his action.
Superintendent David Brown says preliminary evidence shows the 13-year-old wasn't just in the stolen car, but likely involved in the carjacking incidents. Westsiders we spoke to say enough is enough.
It's more to life than just carjacking people for no reason. People work hard for their stuff. You should be wanting to work hard so you could get like them.
And tonight, police are still working to track down that second suspect which left the scene. Also in terms of the in front, officer now being placed. Investigates. Live in the city's west side, Nate Rogers.
Significant questions in the Chicago police shooting of an unarmed 13-year-old boy. This all happened overnight as officers were chasing a car that was believed to have been used in a carjacking. Police Superintendent David Brown spoke to reporters tonight, but he wouldn't reveal many details about the shooting. NBC5's Natalie Martinez live with the story tonight. Natalie?
Stephen, the police superintendent didn't give a police narrative, but did give a play-by-play on what they know happened and how a 13-year-old apparent suspect ended up here. Chicago police believe it all began on May 16th with this silver Honda Accord stolen from the Loop. They believe the same criminals stole another car in Oak Park with a 3-year-old in the back seat.
The mother grabs onto the vehicle and is dragged before falling and breaking her clavicle. That vehicle, the Honda CR-V, was recovered shortly thereafter with the child safely.
Then last night about this time, license plate reading technology helps a CPD chopper get ground units to the suspects.
I got one subject out of the vehicle. This is a passenger.
Several officers pursue the individual on foot. The subject flees to a gas station parking lot.
The driver flees the West Humboldt Park gas station, ditching the car in East Garfield Park, but the 13-year-old runs on foot.
And turns toward the officer. The officer then discharges his weapon, striking the individual once.
EMS right now, Chicago and Cicero at the Marathon gas station.
So there's several both pod video and body-worn camera video that shows this incident, and we're going to defer to the COPA investigation before we start recounting what's seen on the video.
This advocate claims he spoke with a relative.
His hands was actually up, and he was pivoting to turn around a la Adam Toledo, but without a gun.
Police still have not caught the person that the teen was traveling with, and at last check he was in critical condition here, although it's unclear where on his body he was shot. We're live at Stroger Hospital. Natalie Martinez, NBC.
Now that y'all seen them two videos, now who talked about the victims of these carjackers? Nobody. The actor or the activist, y'all want to call him an actor, activist if you want to. You don't see him out there when all these blacks is killing blacks. You see him everywhere where the news come up with something like this here. The next thing you know, you're going to see Benjamin Crump running up like he really care about the 13-year-old getting shot. Benjamin Crump doesn't care about the 13-year-old getting shot, or none of these other blacks. He didn't even care about Trayvon Martin. All he cared about is a lawsuit. You see what I'm saying? He's not caring about Zimmerman still running around. Do you think he care? No, he don't care. All he care about is millions of dollars. That's what he do. But I want y'all to just pay attention. God is trying to give you a wake-up call. Ain't nobody saying, what was that 13-year-old doing out at 10 o'clock at night running out of a stolen car? Where is the guardians of that 13-year-old? Now, if the police shot him and he had his hands up and he was unarmed, you see what I'm saying? I ain't justifying that. But see, I done been in situations where people done had their hands up, hands in their waist, and I had to take their life because I was afraid they were gonna take mine. You see, I ain't justifying what all police do out there, but all police ain't wrong. This is a task force that deals specifically with carjacking. Carjacking is a real serious crime out there, especially in the black community. So you all that study talking about what the police didn't do, saying that the guy was unarmed, okay, he might have been unarmed. I don't know what the reason the police shot him. But I know one thing, ain't nobody talking about that lady but the police, that lady that they carjacked in Oak Park and dragged her and she fractured her clavicle trying to save her baby. Black folks, you need to wake up. When your kids is out there committing crime and you don't know where they at and you ain't trying to find out where they at, they should lock y'all up too. You see what I'm saying? Because if anybody was monitoring that 13-year-old, that 13-year-old wouldn't have been out there. How many other cars have you carjacked? How many people that they killed out there? Y'all ain't concerned about that. Like I said, I sympathize with a 13-year-old, but what if it was a 23-year-old? Would it made a difference? No, it ain't gonna make no difference. All y'all concerned about, some of y'all, you actor and you alderman, y'all ain't concerned about the crime out there. All y'all concerned about is getting a lawsuit. The actor and went to the people's house. You see what I'm saying? And they said his hands was up. The camera's gonna show his hands was up, but still, if his hands was up or down, or he didn't have a gun at all, he still committed a damn crime. Peace be still.